In this channel I like to spend my time bashing the holy hell out of the idiots, which at this point is pretty much exclusively the left and the establishment. Lord knows we're never going to be short of targets in that regard, but anyway. In the spirit of my countryman who now owns Twitter and who seems to take a lot of pride in pissing off both the left and the right, let's see if I can follow in his footsteps, shall we? Now, this is from an article by Sasha Stone called The Collapse of Biden's Woketopia. I might read the whole article at some point. It's really good. Lass can write like the dog's bollocks. But she has one quote in here. As Americans, we will always bend towards freedom and away from tyranny. We are born that way. It is in our blood and in our spirit. It's been written down and signed in our Declaration of Independence, etc., etc. Paint your genitals red, white, and blue. Now, being the mischievous utensil that I am, I read this and think to myself, nah, honey, that's bullshit. You were not born with this. It is not in your blood, as you say. It is because your constitution was written in English. Your whole country's existence is thanks to the British Empire. If it wasn't for them, you Yankees wouldn't even exist, as much as that is going to annoy the gun-toting 70-76 crowd who don't know dick about the interim period years prior to the ratification of the Constitution. Now, Americans have this really peculiar, estranged relationship with colonization, because the left will scream about colonization and patriarchy and all of that noble savage myth bullshit, and the right will tell them to get the hell over it. Our civilization is one of war, blood, and conquering, and which is true. But those Americans very much believe in their founding narrative, and while they also will adhere to the history as written by the victor trope, that doesn't seem to apply to their own country. Oh, no. They will hate the left for the anti-colonialism attitude, except in their own country. Then they will find nothing wrong with being anti-colonial. Then there's nothing redeeming about the British Empire at all. That one is for the rest of the world, mind you, but for some reason in America, no, they're exclusively bastards there. And I will bet you can probably count on one hand the number of Americans who've read anything by those Americans who favored staying under the rule of King George III, and why. Americans, you do realize the only reason the world pays any attention to you is because of your economic and military might. It is because of the petrodollar and the fact that your military is like a penicillin-resistant STD. And don't get it twisted, I'm not saying America's military is not full of good men and women, more so that it is used by Washington in a horrible way on the world stage. If it wasn't for that, the bollocks we give about you would drop drastically. We already look at your country's behavior and think you're like a caricature of a clowning shitshow. And that is all for now. Thank you all for watching, and to quote Hedonism Bot,
I apologize for nothing.